आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे स्टीलर सिस्टम इन टेरिडोफाइट्स. Von Tigam and Duliet in 1886 gave the term steel, and steel term is better applied to vascular cryptogams, that is pteridophytes. For higher plants, the term vascular cylinder is not better suited, as they don't have distinct endoderm and pericycle. Basically, there are two types of steels in the pteridophytes: protosteel and siphonosteels. Protosteel again divisible into haplosteel, actinosteel and plectosteel and mixed protosteel. The basic feature of the protosteel is that it is the simplest type of the steel occurring in the vascular cryptogams, and there is no pith. A central xylem core is surrounded by a rim of phloem, and above which there will be pericycle, one or two layer, and then endodermis. Then second type is siphonosteel. Siphonosteel is characteristic of the presence of the pith. The origin of pith may be intravascular or extravascular from the cortex. Siphonosteel basically divisible into three more types: solenosteel, dictosteel and polysiphonosteel. The basic difference between the siphonosteel and protosteel is the presence of pith. In protosteel, pith is absent, whereas in siphonosteel, a central pith is present. Protosteel, it is the most primitive, a central core of the xylem surrounded by the phloem. It is found in fossil xylophytales and also in many living primitive vascular plants such as Xylotum and Massipteris, and spore links of many filigales also have protosteel. Basically, first type of protosteel is the haplosteel. It is the most simplest type of steel found in the pteridophyte. It was found in fossils xylophytoles like Rhynia, Ornitophytoles and Coxonia, and also in some living pteridophytes like Xylotum, Selaginella and Lycopodium. This diagram shows that a typical haplosteel, a central xylem core is surrounded by the phloem and there is no pith. Actinosteel is characterized by the presence of a star-shaped xylem. Example: Xylotum, Lycopodium serratum, and some fossil forms like Asteroxylum and Sphenophyllum. Actinosteel is the basic type of haplosteel. Plectosteel is characterized by the parallel plates of xylem surrounded by phloem. Lycopodium clavatum and Lycopodium volubile are example of plectosteel. Mixed protosteel. Stem of the Lycopodium serranum has mixed protosteel, broken protosteel, which are the group of tracheids. These are embedded in the phloem. And in Osmunda particularly, there are some pith present, that is the mixed protosteel with pith. It is the modification of protosteel. Now come to the siphonosteel. Siphonosteel is the modification of protosteel, and based on leaf branches and leaf traces, Jeffrey recognized two types of siphonosteel: cladosyphonic and phyllosiphonic. Cladosyphonic steel leaf trace is absent, as in microphyllous lycopsids, and phyllosiphonic steel has both leaf traces and branch traces, as in order Filicales. This is the siphonosteel, presence of central pith. The pith may be originated either from cortical tissues or from vascular tissue. There are two theories of the origin of pith in haplosteels. This is the ectoploic siphonosteel, and it is the amphiploic siphonosteel. Ectoploic siphonosteel is the characteristic of Equisetum sphenopsida, and in this only one phloem ring is present. In amphibolic siphonostele, both inner and outer endodermis and ring of the phloem is found. Xylem is surrounded on the both sides by the phloem, whereas in ectophoic siphonostele, on the outer surface of the xylem core is surrounded by phloem. Right? So this is the ectophoic siphonostele. This is the amphiphoic siphonostele. There is no leaf traces and branch traces in siphonostele. Only central pith is present. Ectophoic siphonostele is found in Equisetum, Osmunda, Scheigia. The siphonostele have a single phloem ring external to the xylem. Such a siphonostele is called ectophoic siphonostele. Amphiphoic siphonostele, it is found in Adiantum, Dipteris, Marsilia. It has two endodermal layer and two phloem layers. Solenostele. A siphonostele with non-overlapping leaf gaps is known as solenostele. Solenostele again may be ectophoic solenostele or amphiphoic solenostele. Its peculiar feature is that leaf gaps are non-overlapping. The solenostele may be present in lower part of the stem where the leaves are spacely placed. This is the solenostele. It is the non-overlapping leaf traces. Dictosteles. Characteristic feature of the dictostele is the presence of meristele. The siphonostele with overlapping leaf traces, it has many scattered vascular strands. Each of these strands is called as meristele. Dipteris, Pteris and Ophioglossum. These are the example of dictostele. These are found in very small rhizome with crowded leaves. Characteristic feature is that dictostele is found in those stems where leaves are crowded. So crowding of leaf results into the overlapping leaf gaps and leaf traces. So the leaf gaps overlap with each other. This is the example of dictostele. Overlapping. Now polycyclic stele, it is the more complex type with two or more concentric ring of the vascular tissue. Example, pteridium and pteris. If in a polycyclic stele the outer cylinder is solenostele, it is called as polycyclic solenostele, and if the outer cylinder is dictostelic, it is known as polycyclic dictostele. This is the diagram. There are two rings you can see, outer ring of the meristele, and then there is some separation of sclerenchyma, and then the inner ring of this meristele. So this topic is very important for NET examination, and there was a question in December 2019 or in 2019 June examination. I think it was in June examination. Entire 4 marks question came from this Steeler system, and it was very difficult question to solve. Okay, so this topic is also part of the MSc syllabi of various universities and colleges, and also part of the PGT, TGT and civil services. Okay, thank you very much.